right, hockey fans, here we go. This will serve as my 23-24 Florida Panthers preview and my NHL preview. There's really no sense in making both videos. Now, this will be my 8th season covering the Florida Panthers. I don't know where it's gone. I was looking around the room before I started the video, and we've just about been in this house 9 years now, and this is my 8th season, and there's a lot of memories in this spot. None better than what we did last year, even if it didn't end the way we wanted it to end. So, in terms of the Panthers, now, if you've been listening to the podcast, I have a members-only podcast Monday through Friday. That's $3 a month. Links are in the description. If you've been listening to that at all during the summer, most of this information you've probably already heard, but there's a few new things. So, in terms of the Panthers, it's been a progression. First, I cried for about 6 weeks. That's not even a lie. Like, I think there's at least once or twice that on the podcast there was like a tear. There was like maybe that one. It was bad. It was bad. I know Maurice cracked the same joke, but I don't think he's joking because I know I'm not joking. So, and then as we got into things, it's been an interesting summer for me personally. It's been bad. It's just been one kick in the nuts after another. But the point to that is that my body has just not been feeling good at all. The line was eased, kind of kicked back in a little bit. So for a while, I'm feeling not good. So for a while, I kind of was like, well, if I feel like crap after the season, the players must feel like crap. They're not going to have the energy to really go through this again, right? Turns out I just needed to see some hockey. I still feel like crap. That's a different story. But in terms of the Panthers, I think that when we had that first preseason game, it was maybe only the first period of the first preseason game. But we had our guys out there, and I know we were playing a bunch of high school kids. That's not the point. But you saw the chemistry on the ice. You saw the same machine of 5 guys working in unison on the ice that you saw all the way through the playoffs until we got to Vegas. So I have kind of changed over the summer and what I thought was going to happen. And then when you throw in the question marks in Boston as the retirements happen, and then with Vasilevsky going down in Tampa, I have a feeling the Panthers are going to start fast. And to really put a fine point on it, I think they must start fast, because I don't believe any team has the energy to do what they did last year twice. And I'm not just talking about the playoff run, but the pace that we had to play at the second half of the season was crazy. But I think the reason why we played so well in the playoffs is because we already had been playing at that pace. Now, I don't mind playing at that pace the last month, 6 weeks of the season, but we had to do that basically from January on, right? We were in a hole, and we dug ourselves out, and we almost climbed to the top of the mountain and planted the flag, but we fell down the mountain instead. So I have a feeling, and if you look at our schedule, I've done a few schedule reviews on the podcast. If you look at the schedule, I'm not going to quite call it easy, but I think like in the first 12 games, we played the Blackhawks twice. We played the Sharks. There's no murderer's row in the beginning of the season. It's not like we're playing Tampa, then the Devils, then the Leafs, and then, there's none of that in the first 15, 20 games, basically. Am I getting a delivery? You hear that beep, beep, beep. Am I getting a delivery? Let's find out. Right in the middle of the season preview, and I have no idea what that beeping noise is, but it's nobody in front of my house. I don't know what it is. All right, well, it wouldn't be a flying fluffy video if there wasn't a cricket or a beeping noise or somebody flushing the toilet above my head. So I'm not even going to edit that out because you can hear Fluffy. So, all right. So what do I think we're going to do this season? Start fast. You know we're going to hit road bumps. Okay, you know we're going to hit some bumps in the roads. Every team does, with the exception of Boston, until they ran into us, and we were their massive stop sign in the road. So I had said on the podcast, we did a live stream a couple days ago. I had said 104 points. I think that seems about right. I know some people are thinking mid to high 90s. Look, 96 points, 104 points. It's an 8-point difference. That's 4 games. Who can sit here and predict 4 games? And speaking of predicting, I will not be predicting the Panthers to win the Cup. Let's just put that right here. There's 2 reasons for that. Well, 3. Number 1, I'm not putting myself through that again. Okay? I'm not putting myself through that again. I predicted it last year, and by the time everybody believed that I was right, then they lost. It's like they did all of the things to make it look like I'm going to start crying. I'm serious. I got little tears. They broke me. I'm so broken. But by the time everybody got on board and stopped calling me crazy for saying they were going to win the Cup, then they blew it. So I'm not doing that again. I almost said never, but never say never, but not this year. Now, in terms of where I think the Panthers are going to slot in, I think they'll be in the top 3. All right. I'll get to what I'm expecting for some of the players at the end here. I think they'll slot in the top 3. They're definitely going to win a round in the playoffs, right? And the problem I have here in predicting things is that there's what I want, what I really don't want, and what I think might happen. And what I really want is for them to win the Cup, obviously. But I feel like the Leafs are going to win the division. And if we are number 3, and then we win our playoff series, guess who we're playing? That would be probably the Leafs, right? In round 2. So I will go out on a limb that I'm not really so secure on and say I feel like, okay, we'll beat the Leafs in the second round. We're getting detailed now. But when it comes to the Stanley Cup, I believe that you're going to see the Carolina Hurricanes representing the East. And there's a couple of reasons why I'm picking the Canes. Number 1, over the course of the summer, I've been doing a lot of salary cap, and the way that they have structured their team, I think, is really, really good. They're solid all the way around. They've got 3 goaltenders. They don't have the super high firepower, but they're kind of in a window of they've been good for a while now, and they need to get this done. They need to get it done. So I feel like they're going to have a different level of experience, different level of motivation. That's first. I'm actually picking the Canes to win the Cup. And the biggest reason, besides the hockey thing, is that there was a man, I hate to say the word was, but if you've been a fan of this channel for a while, you might have run across somebody named Richard Loreth. He was a massive Hurricanes fan. He also was a Panther fan. He's been with this channel since at least the first year. I don't think day 1, but since the first year. He has sent me, I've got Canes gear, I've got stuff that he has sent me. He was always there, and he passed away suddenly this summer. So that's kind of part of the reason why I'm picking the Canes, because if we can't win, let them win. Let Carolina get it out of the way, get it out of your system, because they have been knocking on that door for what seems like forever now. So don't get me wrong, of course, I want my Panthers to win, but I am not putting myself through that again. Even if inside, even if my gut was screaming at me like last year, going pick them to win, I wouldn't do it. I'm broken. What's that song by Great White? Once bitten, twice shy. They broke me. All right, so I am not picking them this year to win anything other than at most making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then if they surprise us all, beautiful. I love to be surprised, as opposed to standing here stunned after the second period of Game 5 and it's 6-1, and I'm like practically suicidal because I don't understand how they could get all that way and not win the cup. So, not doing that to myself again. Now, over in the West, real quick, somebody fill me in. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know all of the details of all of the Western Conference teams. Not even going to pretend that. What happened to Seattle? Why is everybody saying they're either a bubble team or not going to make the playoffs? Did they blow out half of their roster, or is it just people don't like expansion teams now because Vegas won a cup? Somebody explain that to me in the comments. Bottom line is, I've seen a lot of Leafs, Edmonton Oilers predictions in terms of the Stanley Cup final. What I want to say is that I'm going to stand here and guarantee that that's not going to happen. On the other hand, last year I stood here and guaranteed the Panthers Stanley Cup. So I am not going to do that either. I am not. I'm broken. I'm broke. Do not call me for a psychic reading because I'd be like, I don't know, click, okay? Just, it's not happening. I'm not predicting games. I'm not predicting score. I ain't predicting shit. At least until after this hockey season is over, and I have kind of like, I am on prediction LTI. I'm on PTIR. I am not predicting a damn thing. I'm going to sit there, and we're going to stream every game, and I'm going to watch, and oh, wow, I guess that's what happened. That's just how it's going to be. So, if I had to pick right now, Colorado, Canes, and I know on paper and probably on the ice, Colorado would most likely win that series, but I'm going to pick the Canes anyway just to be a dick. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Carolina Hurricanes winning the Stanley Cup, which would, if we can't win this year, if this turns out to be the year the Panthers are just not quite energetic enough and we got the injuries and everything else, you know, we're still dealing with things, right? Ekblad gone, Montour gone, Sam Bennett, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Sam Bennett, but that's a lot of little injuries in a short period of time. It's getting a little bit concerning. So, if this is the year the Panthers can't do it, let the Canes do it. That gets it out of their system, and they go on the long run. And the next year, they're tired, and then maybe we can win if we can get past. I saw a hockey guy pick New Jersey, right? I think it's a little soon. All right? That's what I'm going to say about the Devils. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be bad. It probably win that division. Canes, Devils, either way. But I'm not so sure just yet. Just like Buffalo. I see a lot of people picking Ottawa over Buffalo. I guess they don't believe in Devon Levi. Us Panther fans know exactly what's going to happen with Buffalo because we're Panther fans. Everybody else is like, I don't know if Levi can do it. Panther fans are like, we gave him away for Sam Ryan. Not gave him away, but we traded him. We had him. We gave him. So Panther fans know he's going to rock it in Buffalo while everybody else has questions. So it is what it is. In terms of some individual players, Semeskovich has made the team. Sourdiff has made the team. Don't know for how long. What we don't know is which one of those guys wouldn't have made the team if Sam Bennett was healthy, right? Or would they both have made the team regardless, right? Because I was surprised that we waived Dalpe because he would not have had, because he had to clear waivers, right? And Sourdiff would not have had to clear waivers. Whatever the case is, we're going to see we're going to see so many versions of this team. And I think it's going to be kind of similar to last year, right? We played that heavy physical style. It's almost always going to be that one guy in the top 9 that's dinged up and out. So Maurice believes in both of these kids. I was less surprised by Semeskovich making it than Sourdiff, but Sourdiff the last few games, as Semeskovich kind of tailed off a little bit, Maurice said he pretty much rode him into the ground, so he wasn't holding that against him. Sourdiff started getting more playing time, and he looked good. They both look like they belong. Okay, they don't. There's no defensive lapses. There's no like, oh my God, what's this kid doing? There's none of that we saw so far. So we're gonna get the first 8-9 games here, right? And that should probably take us through the time where Sam Bennett comes back. And then we'll see if Saradov, Semeskovich are playing and they're playing well, they're going to stay. If not, we don't know exactly how that's going to work out. You can always throw Nick Cousins up there next to Bennett and Kachuk. So there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. We're already starting the season with not exactly the top 9 that we wanted to, but most of the year last year we did the same thing. There was always somebody hurt, and if nobody was hurt, Barkov was sick. So somebody, I mean, it is what it is, right? So that's it. 104 points, 3rd place. I think the Leafs are going to win the division. Look, I know all of the reasons to say Tampa's not going to be in that 2nd position. I think Toronto, Tampa, Florida, Buffalo. Leafs beat Buffalo. Florida beats Tampa. And then just pray that we beat the Leafs. Because if the Leafs beat us in the 2nd round of the playoffs, we ain't never going to hear the end of it. I would much rather lose to Carolina in the conference final than Toronto in the second round. Just don't even get me started there. So, but in terms of what I think is going to happen, that's about as close as we can get. Over into the Metro, Canes and Devils are the clear cream of the crop over there. Rangers should be good enough to make the playoffs, right? Unless Ottawa is really better than people think. But then who's going to play third? The 3rd place in the Metro is kind of like, right? I mean, the Rangers, maybe. Penguins, I don't know. The Islanders, maybe, right? So that 3rd, 4th, 5th place in the Metro, that could come down to the very end. And Ottawa could kind of be in that mix with the wild card. And maybe Buffalo. We'll see. Not when I say maybe Buffalo, what I mean is at the end of the season, they may not have something completely wrapped up. They'll be in the mix. But I have a feeling they're going to have 4 in the division wrapped up. That's a much clearer top 4 to me anyway. So, but you know, what do you got? You got Buffalo is an American team. Ottawa is a Canadian team. So you're going to get all the hype for Ottawa and not so much for Buffalo. And that's where you, down here, down south, welcome to the club, Buffalo. We're used to that down here. Now you can get a little taste of that action. Unless you were Pittsburgh or New York or Chicago. You know what I'm saying, right? There's, in the NHL more than any other sport, there is a club, a clique, a fraternity of a certain number of teams, certain names of teams. They get all the attention, and everybody else is just kind of like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. It's very cliquish. The NHL would do better to attempt to, well, it's not the NHL, it's the NHL media, right? They just want to keep pumping out the same teams over and over and over again. No matter how many times the Leafs lose in the playoffs, this is the year the Leafs are going to win the cup. But this is the year. Is what it is. All right. I'm going to go back to bed now. So, what do we got? Today, we got Randy Moeller coming out later on. That's going to be later today. I don't even think we're recording till 5. So, that's not going to be out until evening time. And then Kyle and I will be back on Thursday. Okay? Live streaming, right? We're going to do the same thing. Live streaming every game. Content is still pretty much the same. There's some additions that could be coming. Haven't really been able to work on things as much. In terms of, because I know some people have asked me, the book is this close. It's this close. It's the book is a total of 15 chapters. I'm about 2/3 of the way through 14. So all I have to do is knock out the last chapter and a half, place the pictures, send it off to the formatter. So my goal is to have that thing, it should be good and ready and out for sale long before Thanksgiving, but at least by Black Friday. I'm not putting it on sale for Black Friday. It's double. Actually, if you buy it on Black Friday, it's going to be oh, it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year. But us Panther fans, this year, I don't know about you, but I don't know what to do. Like, every other year has kind of like been, well, maybe this, maybe that. But now that we did what we did last year, and we got the same guys, right? Now that we know this group of guys could win a cup, and we're legitimately cup contenders, Now the beginning of the season, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking, right? You know what I mean? Because there's more pressure. When we were like, maybe we can make the playoffs and get 89 points, when those years, so the years we sucked, it wasn't the same pressure. This year feels different. It feels like that expectation level has been taken up a notch. And I think that's another reason why I'm just gonna sit back, watch, enjoy it. We're gonna have all the fun on the streams. All right, Sasha's upstairs, ready to take a spot on the couch next to us. I gotta find all my scarves. I know where they are, I think, but they might have been well, let's just say, because I had all the rally cap. Let's just say the rally cap scarves might have how can I put this? They might have been mistreated a couple of times in the days following that loss in Game 5. There might have been some broken, totally broken. All right, Panthers, prove me wrong. How about that? Yeah, that instead of me going all season saying I want to be right, this year I want to be wrong.